How was it? Scary?
No, not particularly.
So just another day out.
A really good day out.
Hi and welcome to MyOutdoors. Today I want to talk about a film that recently got released called The Alpinist. Climbing films aren't necessarily Hollywood blockbusters. Very recently though, there was obviously Alex Honnold's and Jimmy Chin's Free Solo, which did very well and actually won the film an Oscar. So there has been, in the past couple of years, a couple of films that have raised their head into the spotlight of the worldwide media, not just the little climbing club that we sometimes like it to be. Another film has come around, The Alpinist, with Marc-Andre Leclerc. This guy, when you watch the movie, and you can see it in the trailer, which I'll put below, and I've also included some of it before this review, you can see how unassuming he is, but what he does in the mountains throughout the film is not unassuming. There probably isn't words that describe, in my opinion, what this young man does. Some of the feats that he took on and completed were unbelievable. But it's probably more so his approach to climbing that got me the most and drew me in, and just jaw-droppingly, you just can't fathom how this young man's mind works. Throughout the film there's a lot of kind of talking heads, alpinists, mountaineers that you'll know the names of, household names, your Reinhold Messner's, and then there's other guys, Barry Blanchard, Will Gadd, feature kind of throughout the film, and they talk about how amazing that this feat is, but on the flip side how dangerous the routes he does by himself are. The first person that features in the film as a talking head is Alex Honnold. I mentioned Free Solo. This is a different thing altogether, in my opinion. In the film, Honnold touches on it very slightly, and I don't know if he would admit it, I don't know if I'm right, but his approach is a little bit more commercial, and that kind of resonates in how part of the way through the film, or part of the way through the filming, he goes completely off grid, disappears from the filmmakers. The filmmakers get him a phone so that they can keep in touch with him, but he still falls off the grid. And it's interesting when he comes back to them and talks about how the solo isn't a solo for him unless he's completely solo. No camera, no people watching from below, etc. He just wants to go into some pretty arduous terrain and disappear. But what he does do is he invites them back with him when he goes to and redoes the summit, which again, to go back and do a route or the routes that he does a second time and put himself in that danger, which he doesn't see. I don't know if that's entirely true, I think he probably does see it. But he goes back to do it again purely for the film. I think without the film elements of him climbing, then obviously the movie would lose a lot of the grandeur that comes with the film. But it's the spiritual aspect that Marc-Andre kind of holds on to, that he brings to the film. When he's interviewed himself, you can see the innocence. There's a couple of parts in the movie where you see him obviously climbing, but it feels like it's more than that. It feels like he's at one with his surroundings and the routes and the features that are on that route. There's one point where he's climbing on ice solo. He just seems in tune to the conditions and the world around him. I think it's quite awe-inspiring to watch, and I would definitely urge anybody who's on the verge of it, not even climbers. I think non-climbers will maybe have some problems with watching it because it is so exposed. I think as a climber, it's still so exposed. I think it will let the non-climbers see what it is that climbing brings to individuals. I genuinely don't think that Marc-Andre Leclerc is a one-off. At this point in time, there's nobody else that I'm aware of like him. But like I say, there could be people out there in the Alps or in Patagonia and Himalaya potentially that are doing things that he's doing. We're just not hearing about him. The two directors involved in this have been involved in some major films, The Dawn Wall and Valley Uprising. Both I think are on Netflix and are definitely worthy of a watch. And the way they approached this film was with respect, I think, to Marc-Andre's approach to climbing, but I think with frustration as well, because what they wanted to produce was a climbing movie, and without a main protagonist, then you're not going to get a climbing movie. And they've worked around it, and what they have produced, there's not many words you can use for it, but I am definitely inspired and in awe of what has been put together. I think it's respectful to the climbers and all the people involved. One of the other main inputs to the film was Marc-Andre's girlfriend, Brett Harrington, who I was aware of, who's a professional climber in her own right. The way that the story develops, again, the filmmakers are respectful with that as well. Marc-Andre's mum is included as part of the interviewees, and she understands what Marc-Andre needed, and that comes out in the movie, and definitely has allowed him to go the way that he's gone. Please don't think this is another free solo. This is not. It's been likened to it, and I've seen that in the media. This is not a free solo. This is how one alpinist, one climber, approaches climbing that is completely unique to anything that probably the outside world and even me and a lot of climbers I would expect see it. The main focus is Marc-Andre and the routes that he does, but the wider story around it is definitely worth a watch. I'm going to watch it again because it was definitely a film that had a lot of aspects to it, a lot of layers that need to be kind of peeled away. There's a lot of characters throughout the film. There's one particular spiritual Mancunian called Heavy Duty. To his own admission, he says he's probably light duty now, but he seems to have connected with Marc-Andre quite early on in his career, and they have there's a in the trailer you'll see it. There's an interesting hula hoop display, but it kind of shows that the fun that he has. It's not all serious hardcore climbing. Marc-Andre is there to enjoy himself, and I think in a kind of twisted way, the fact that he puts himself in those positions is, don't get me wrong, he's an unbelievably capable climber, so he's not entirely putting himself in a position that is unknown to him, but there's definitely a risk to it. And there's one point when he talks about the last meal before he goes on a climb. So he recognises the danger. Like I said before, it's the film's about the way he approaches climbing and what he needs for the true way for him to climb solo. If you haven't picked up on it throughout the review, this is one to watch. This is a 5-star, awe-inspiring 5-star climbing movie. It's in just about every cinema and probably some smaller ones. It's also shown at Kendal Mountain Festival, I noticed on the programme that they released. So there's no excuse for you not to see this film. Go and see it.